Blue Goals lead it by 10. Back with more from a wild Zone Arena in just a moment.
For the first 50 years of the UW-Eau Claire men's basketball team, the program was no more than mediocre. That was until 1968, when Ken Anderson stepped onto the scene. Anderson took over the role of head coach and elevated the men's basketball team to new levels, but he didn't do so quietly. No one knew that better than Mike Sullivan, the voice of Eau Claire athletics for nearly 40 years.
Ken Anderson was old school, no question about it, and I was and am a serious journalist who tried. My goal before every game was to know more about that game than anybody else, including the coaches. Don't always achieve it still, and certainly Ken, as gifted and as talented a coach as he was, and he was not friendly to journalists. That's no secret, and he made things very tough. He honestly believed that journalists were the enemy.
Anderson cultivated an atmosphere in Zorn Arena, where he won 387 games and lost just 44 in his 27 years at the helm.
Zorn Arena was dark. The visitors' locker room is still probably the worst in the WEAC, and that's on purpose, or at least it was in the day. They wanted visiting teams to be uncomfortable.
In the Anderson era, the men's team made the national tournament 5 times and were the national runner-ups in 1972 and again in 1990. One member of that number 1 ranked 1972 team was Frank Shady, a D1 Texas Western transfer who took Eau Claire by storm.
Frank Shady, when you talk about great Eau Claire players, you got to start with them.
Shady transferred to Eau Claire to play under his high school coach Ken Anderson, as he was putting UW-Eau Claire men's basketball on the map.
He took over the program when it wasn't having very much success, and the guys he brought in, we had a special bond.
One man who got to see that bond in action most was former WEAU Channel 13 sports director Rick Foy.
We had players like Frank Shady and Mike Ratliff who got pro contracts as well, and it was a very remarkable time. So as a media person, growing up in that environment, it was almost a dream come true.
The Blue Goals participated in the National Association of Intercollegiate Athletics, or NAIA, where they won their district's title 14 times behind their fierce leader.
With 388, Ken Anderson more than half, and the other coaches only 65. That tells you a lot about the last 2 head coaches here at Eau Claire. What a job Ken Anderson's done with this program, this year in and year out. Great basketball team.
Like any coach, he was a very competitive person. And certainly back in those days, being as dominant as the program won, he was very, very competitive. And the atmosphere in Zorn was a tough place to play for people, I'll tell you that, when they came in.
Anderson's coaching style may have ruffled some feathers, but it certainly got results.
That's like asking if Vince Lombardi's style would work for the Packers. The answer is probably no, but it didn't have to. It was a different era, and it worked then, just like Bobby Knight's did. And, certainly it was a more autocratic, my way or the highway type system. And make no mistake, it didn't work with everybody then.
He got us to work extremely hard, and I think play the way he wanted us to play, even though we didn't always like what he had to say, because we knew everything, because of our youth. But he was a very good coach, a very good person to play for.
A lot of those players hated his guts when they played for him, and I'm not exaggerating, and now look back on it and realize what he meant to them, not just as basketball players, but as men.
Zorn Arena is in its final years as home of the UW-Eau Claire men's basketball team after 66 years of service.
When we played, it was a crazy time because we had success, and that place was packed before the teams even took the floor. Half the time, it was a standing line only, an enthusiastic atmosphere, and we were playing at home in front of sold-out crowds every night.
Cross-court Frazier on the way. Good!
And the fans were fantastic. They still are. Zorn is still a special place, as you know, to play. regardless of the relative success, and certainly there have been some exceptions when we've hit low points the last few years, but overall, Eau Claire is a great basketball town, and UW-Eau Claire, I mean, I'm biased, but I think it's a great university.
In 2012, UW-Eau Claire honored Ken Anderson by naming the court and Zorn Arena after him. Former players, fans, and media gathered to celebrate the success and impact Ken Anderson left on UW-Eau Claire men's basketball. Soon, current players will experience a new court, new uniforms, and a new opportunity to leave their mark on Blue Gold basketball.
I'm hopeful that the new event center will kind of capture some of the flavor of Zorn Arena, but at the same time, it needs to be cutting edge.
But even in the face of change, the 27-year legacy of Ken Anderson will remain the same.
He brought our league into a different era.
Starting to pass out the 1,000 victory cards here at Zorn Arena. The fans going to start waving them around because this one is almost history, folks. 75 years of Blue Gold basketball, 1,000 victories.
For Inside Eau Claire, I'm Bree Meier.